You are about to understand something most men never do. Not because it is secret, not because it is complicated, but because it goes against everything you've been conditioned to believe. What if I told you that the strongest form of attraction requires no words at all? No clever lines, no chasing, no explanations, no proving, just presence. And what if I told you that when this presence is done correctly, she doesn't just like you, she thinks about you, she wonders about you. She moves toward you emotionally and physically without even realizing why. This video is not about tricks, it's not about manipulation, and it's not about pretending to be someone you're not. This is about psychology, human behavior, and the silent signals that decide attraction long before words ever matter. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men lose attraction before they even speak. They lose it in their posture, in their eyes, in their emotional neediness, in the way they seek permission to exist. And women feel this instantly. So today, we're going to strip everything back. No scripts, no pickup lines, no performance. Only the core mechanics of why women chase some men and feel nothing for others, even when those men say almost nothing. You've been taught that attraction is created by effort, by doing more, by saying more, by showing more, that if you just try hard enough, she'll eventually see your value. This belief has ruined more attraction than rejection ever could. Attraction does not grow from effort, it grows from contrast. The difference between calm and anxious, grounded and reactive, present and needy. Women don't chase what is loud, they chase what is centered. And centered men don't move toward women emotionally. Women move toward them. Silence makes most men uncomfortable. They rush to fill it. They over-explain. They joke nervously. They say things they don't even mean. Because silence exposes emotional instability. But when a man is comfortable in silence, it signals something very rare. He is not seeking validation. And the moment a woman senses that, her behavior changes. She leans in. She speaks more. She fills the gap. Not because she's impressed, but because her subconscious is responding. Silence creates space. Space creates curiosity. And curiosity is the beginning of chasing. In every interaction, there is an unspoken hierarchy. Not dominance, not control, but emotional positioning. One person is centered, the other is adjusting. One person is observing, the other is performing. Women don't consciously analyze this. They feel it. The man who adjusts his tone, posture, and energy to gain approval positions himself below her emotionally. The man who remains steady, calm, and self-contained positions himself above the interaction, not above her, above the need for approval. And this is where chasing begins. Because women do not chase men who want something from them. They chase men who seem complete without them. Most men think chasing is about actions, texting too much, calling too often, complimenting excessively. Those are symptoms, not the cause. The real chasing happens internally. The man is already emotionally invested, already imagining outcomes, already fearing loss. And that emotional linkage is felt. You don't need to say, "I like you," for her to know you need her validation. Your energy tells her everything, and the moment she feels needed, the chase ends. Mystery is not about hiding, it's about restraint, not revealing everything at once, not reacting emotionally to everything she says, not explaining yourself unnecessarily. Restraint creates depth. Depth creates pull. The man who speaks only when he means something is far more attractive than the man who fills every moment with noise. Women begin to chase when they feel emotionally ahead of you, not because you're weak, but because you're not chasing back. When she talks more than you, when she asks more questions than you, when she invests emotionally before you do, her mind starts to justify that investment. We value what we invest in. Silence, calm, and presence invite investment without demand. Being nice is not the problem. Fear-based niceness is the kind where you avoid disagreement, suppress your opinions, and over-accommodate. That signals fragility, and women don't chase fragility. Kindness with boundaries is attractive. Niceness without boundaries is invisible. Here is the internal rule you must adopt. I am complete whether this goes somewhere or not. This is not fake indifference. It is grounded self-respect. When you genuinely don't need an outcome, your body relaxes, your voice slows, your eyes soften, and suddenly she feels safe, curious, and drawn in. This is the paradox. The moment you stop trying to make her chase, she starts doing it naturally. In the next section, we'll break down how your presence alone can trigger pursuit, why emotional consistency beats intensity, and how men unknowingly push women away by trying harder. Stay with me, because once you understand this, you'll never chase attention again. And by the end of this video, you'll see how all of this connects directly to how you speak, how you listen, and how conversations quietly lock attraction in place. At this point, you need to understand something important. Chasing does not begin with action. It begins with emotional imbalance. The person who is more emotionally invested is the one who chases. The person who is grounded and complete is the one who is chased. Most men unknowingly flip this balance against themselves. They reveal too much too fast. They react emotionally to small signals. They try to secure interest before it naturally forms. And the moment they do that, attraction starts leaking away. Women are extremely sensitive to emotional shifts, not logically, but instinctively. They feel when a man is calm. They feel when a man is anxious. They feel when a man is waiting for approval, and they respond accordingly. When a man is emotionally steady, her nervous system relaxes. When he is emotionally reactive, her nervous system becomes alert. Attraction does not grow in alertness, it grows in safety and curiosity. This is why emotional consistency is far more powerful than intensity. Intensity feels exciting for a moment. Consistency feels grounding over time. Most men try to create attraction by being intense. They show too much interest too quickly. They give too much energy too early. But intensity without grounding feels unstable. And instability does not invite chasing. It invites distance. A grounded man does not rush emotional connection. He allows it to unfold. He does not mirror her emotions. He remains steady regardless of her emotional state. If she is excited, he stays calm. If she is quiet, he stays calm. If she is distant, he stays calm. This emotional neutrality is deeply attractive because it communicates something powerful without words. It says, I am not controlled by external reactions, and that alone makes her lean in. Another critical factor most men overlook is emotional pacing. Attraction follows rhythm, not speed. When you rush connection, you remove anticipation. When you slow down, anticipation builds naturally. Anticipation is what makes people chase. If everything is available immediately, there is nothing to pursue. This is why restraint is so important. Not artificial restraint, natural restraint. You have a life, you have direction, you have inner fullness. You are not rushing toward validation, and this creates a psychological pull. Another reason women chase is contrast. If every man she meets is eager, expressive, and emotionally available, the man who is calm and centered immediately stands out. Not because he is cold, but because he is different. Difference creates curiosity. Curiosity creates pursuit. This is why you must stop trying to be memorable through effort. Effort is invisible. Presence is unforgettable. Presence is felt through stillness, through eye contact, through relaxed posture, through measured responses. When you speak less but mean more, people listen. When you react less but observe more, people invest. Most men are trying to create attraction through addition. More words, more compliments, more explanations. But attraction is created through subtraction. Less noise, less reaction, less emotional leakage. When you remove neediness, attraction fills the space. There is another important psychological principle at work here. People chase what they feel slightly uncertain about. Not confused, not ignored, but uncertain. Certainty kills attraction when it arrives too early. If she knows exactly how you feel before she feels anything herself, the chase never begins. This is why emotional self-control is essential. You don't hide interest, you simply don't lead with it. You allow her to arrive at interest first. When she invests emotionally before you do, her mind begins to justify that investment. This is not manipulation, it is basic human psychology. We attach value to what we invest energy into, and silence, calmness, and emotional steadiness invite investment. This is also why trying to impress never works. Impressing places her above you emotionally. It communicates, "I need you to approve of me." Chasing never happens upward. Chasing happens toward what feels self-sufficient. A man who is at peace with or without her presence is magnetic. Not because he is detached, but because he is anchored. Anchored men do not seek, they allow. And allowance creates space. Space creates movement. Movement creates chasing. The most powerful shift you can make is internal. Stop asking yourself how to make her want you. Start asking yourself whether you are enjoying the interaction. This single shift changes your posture, your tone, your pace, and your energy, and women feel it immediately. When you are enjoying yourself without expectation, you become attractive without effort. This is the quiet power most men never develop. In the next part, we'll go deeper into how your body language, eye contact, and emotional stillness silently communicate value, and how men unknowingly destroy attraction by trying to do the right thing instead of simply being grounded. Stay with me, because this is where the chase becomes inevitable. Now we need to talk about something that almost no one explains correctly. Your body speaks before your mouth ever does. Long before a woman processes your words, she has already felt your emotional state through your posture, your movement, your eyes, and your stillness. This is why some men say very little and still create attraction, while others talk endlessly and feel invisible. The difference is not confidence in speech, it is confidence in presence. Most men unconsciously communicate urgency through their body. They lean forward too much, they move too often, they fidget, they adjust themselves constantly. All of this signals one thing: internal restlessness. And restlessness tells her nervous system that you're not settled within yourself. A grounded man moves less. He shifts slower. He doesn't rush to fill space. Stillness is not weakness. Stillness is control. When you are still, people pay attention. When you are constantly moving, people tune out. Your posture should feel natural, not rigid. Relaxed shoulders, comfortable stance, no performance. You are not trying to look confident. You're allowing confidence to show itself. Eye contact works the same way. Most men either avoid it or force it. Avoiding eye contact signals insecurity. Forcing eye contact signals aggression or desperation. The correct eye contact is relaxed and unhurried. You look when you want to. You look away when you want to. No tension, no staring, no fear of breaking it. When your eyes are calm, her mind feels calm. Another subtle signal that triggers chasing is emotional non-reactivity. This does not mean you are cold, it means you do not emotionally spike in response to her behavior. If she compliments you, you receive it calmly. If she teases you, you don't defend. If she pulls back slightly, you don't chase. your emotional state remains steady. This creates a powerful psychological contrast. She is used to men reacting to her, adjusting to her moods, chasing her attention. When you don't do this, her mind notices. And when something breaks a familiar pattern, curiosity activates. Curiosity is what pulls people forward. Another subtle but powerful factor is emotional containment. Most men emotionally spill everything they feel. They express interest too early. They explain their intentions too much. They reveal their inner world without restraint. This removes all tension. Tension is not conflict. Tension is anticipation, and anticipation is essential for chasing. A man who contains his emotions creates depth, not by hiding, but by pacing. He allows moments to breathe. He allows curiosity to grow. He understands that connection deepens over time, not instantly. There is also something important to understand about comfort. Comfort is not familiarity. Comfort is emotional safety. You can create comfort without oversharing. You create comfort by being predictable in your emotional stability, not by being predictable in your words. When a woman senses that you are emotionally stable, regardless of how she behaves, her guard lowers. Lowered guard leads to openness. Openness leads to investment. Investment leads to chasing. This is also why men who try to do everything right often fail. They monitor themselves constantly. They censor their reactions. They overthink every response. This creates tension in their body, and tension is felt. A grounded man is not trying to be correct. He is trying to be present. Presence always beats perfection. Another key factor is how you handle space. Most men are uncomfortable with emotional space. They interpret it as disinterest. They rush to close it. But space is where attraction grows. Space allows her to think, to feel, to wonder. When you allow space without anxiety, she fills it emotionally. This is when the chase begins internally. Not because you pulled away dramatically, but because you didn't cling. There is also a subtle shift that happens when attraction is forming. She begins to check your reactions more often. She notices your responses. She watches how you handle silence. At this stage, the worst thing you can do is change. Do not increase effort. Do not become more expressive. Do not seek reassurance. Remain exactly as you were. Consistency is what locks attraction in. Inconsistency creates doubt. Many men fail here because they sense interest in panic. They think, now I have to secure it. And that urge destroys everything. Attraction does not need to be secured. It needs to be allowed. A man who trusts the process is rare, and rarity creates pursuit. In the next part, we will talk about what happens after attraction begins, how texting, timing, and restraint either amplify the chase or completely shut it down, and how most men lose everything by trying to rush what should unfold naturally. Stay with me, because this final understanding is what separates men who are briefly interesting from men who are deeply remembered. Now we need to talk about what happens after attraction begins, because this is where most men lose everything without realizing it. They think attraction is fragile. They think it needs to be maintained through effort. They think if they stop doing something, it will disappear. So they start doing more. They text more. They explain more. They try to secure certainty. And that is exactly what kills the chase. Attraction does not grow through reassurance. It grows through emotional freedom. The moment a woman feels that you are trying to lock her in, her nervous system reacts, not because she dislikes you, but because pressure has entered the interaction. Pressure removes curiosity, and without curiosity, chasing stops. This is why what you do after attraction appears matters more than what you did to create it. Texting is the biggest place where men fail. They treat texting like a continuation of conversation. It is not. Texting is not for bonding. It is for lightly reconnecting emotional tone and moving toward the next real interaction. Short messages are powerful. Clear messages are powerful. Calm messages are powerful. Long messages signal emotional overflow. Emotional overflow signals need. Need dissolves attraction instantly. If you ever feel the urge to explain yourself through text, stop. That urge is fear speaking. A grounded man does not explain his presence. He simply exists. Response timing also matters, but not in the way most people think. You should not respond instantly to prove interest, and you should not delay intentionally to appear busy. Both are forms of strategy. Instead, respond when you are genuinely free. Natural timing signals a full life. Artificial timing signals calculation. Women are extremely sensitive to this difference. Another critical mistake men make is emotional mirroring. If she sends short replies, they panic. If she takes longer to respond, they overthink. If her energy shifts, they chase. A grounded man does not mirror emotionally. He remains steady. If she is enthusiastic, he stays calm. If she is quiet, he stays calm. If she pulls back slightly, he stays calm. This emotional neutrality communicates safety and confidence. And safety is what allows attraction to deepen. There is also the issue of over-availability. Being available is good. Being always available is not. If you drop everything the moment she reaches out, you communicate that your life revolves around her attention. That removes your center. Attraction is drawn to centered men. You don't need to disappear. You don't need to play games. You simply continue living your life. You respond when appropriate. You make plans when it makes sense. You don't orbit. Another place where men lose the chase is when they rush intimacy. They think attraction means access. They think interest means entitlement. But rushing creates pressure. Let intimacy unfold at its own pace. A man who is comfortable without immediate reward is rare, and rarity creates pursuit. There is also something important to understand about uncertainty. Healthy uncertainty creates desire, not confusion, not mixed signals, just space for emotion to develop naturally. When everything is defined too early, desire has nowhere to grow. This is why emotional restraint matters so much. Not because you're hiding who you are, but because you respect the process. You allow emotions to arrive instead of forcing them. Another thing that quietly increases chasing is how you handle rejection or resistance. If she says she's busy, you don't push. If she says she's unsure, you don't convince. If she says no, you accept. Calm acceptance is powerful. It communicates self-respect, and self-respect is deeply attractive even in moments of rejection. Sometimes attraction returns later, sometimes it doesn't. Either way, you remain intact, and that integrity is felt. This leads to the most important principle of all, outcome independence. When you are okay whether this works out or not, your energy changes. Your voice slows, your body relaxes, your attention becomes grounded. And this is when chasing happens most naturally. Because women do not chase men who need something to happen. They chase men who are already whole. In the final part, we'll bring everything together. We'll talk about emotional memory, why women think about certain men long after the interaction ends, and how conversation locks attraction in place when everything else is already aligned. And at the very end, I'll show you exactly how this connects to mastering conversation itself, and why understanding how you speak and listen is the final piece that makes all of this effortless. Stay with me, because this is where everything comes together. At this point, everything should be clear. Making her chase you without saying a word was never about silence itself. It was about what that silence communicates. Calm, stability, self-sufficiency. When you embody those traits, attraction stops being something you chase and starts being something that happens around you. Now, we need to talk about the final piece most men overlook: emotional memory. Women don't remember men for what they said. They remember men for how they felt around them. Long after the interaction ends, what stays is the emotional imprint. Did she feel relaxed or tense? Did she feel safe or pressured? Did she feel curious or overwhelmed? That emotional memory decides whether she thinks about you later. And here's the key detail. Emotional memory is strongest when nothing feels forced. When you didn't try to impress, when you didn't try to win, when you didn't try to secure anything. Just two people sharing space with one person fully grounded in himself. That grounded presence creates contrast. She goes back to her life and meets other men who are rushed, reactive, and approval-seeking, and suddenly you stand out. Not because you did more, but because you did less. This is why women sometimes say things like, "I don't know why, but I keep thinking about him." What they're really saying is that your emotional imprint didn't fade. Now let's connect this to conversation, because this is where everything locks in permanently. Your words don't need to be impressive. They need to be congruent with your presence. If your presence is calm and grounded, your words should be simple and honest. If your presence is centered, your listening should be patient and curious. Conversation is not about steering attraction. It is about allowing attraction to express itself safely. When you listen without waiting to speak, she feels seen. When you speak without needing a reaction, she feels relaxed. When you allow silence without discomfort, she feels curious. This is why conversation mastery is not about techniques. It is about emotional regulation. A man who is regulated creates space. A man who creates space invites investment. A man who invites investment is chased. This also explains why chasing never works long-term. Chasing puts pressure on emotion. Pressure collapses curiosity, and without curiosity, attraction dies. The men women chase are not trying to be chased. They are simply living from a place of inner fullness. They don't need constant feedback. They don't need reassurance. They don't need control. They're okay with things unfolding naturally. That is what makes them rare. And rarity creates desire. If you take one thing from this entire video, let it be this. Stop trying to create attraction. Start removing what blocks it. Remove neediness. Remove urgency. Remove over-explanation. Remove fear of silence. What remains is presence. And presence is powerful. You don't need to be louder. You don't need to be sharper. You don't need to be more interesting. You need to be grounded. When you're grounded, women feel it before you ever say a word. And that is why they move toward you. Not consciously, not logically, but instinctively. Now, if you want to take this even further, there is one video you must watch next. In this video, we focused on presence, silence, and emotional positioning. But attraction does not live in silence alone. It also lives in how you speak, how you listen, and how conversations flow once interest is already there. That's why the next step for you is my video called Master the Art of Conversation with Women. That video shows you how to use calm presence inside real conversations, how to speak without chasing, how to listen without performing, and how to lock attraction in place through words that match your energy. Watch that next, because when presence and conversation align, attraction becomes effortless. You stop chasing, and instead, you become the man women naturally move toward.